Is 90% silver the fool's gold of the precious metals market? We're going to discuss that today. Welcome to my channel. This is Silver Dragoon because, well, somebody else took the name that I really wanted, but it is what it is. Today is the first video that we are going to have talking about silver. And I do plan to discuss a lot of different topics. And if you give me just a moment to introduce myself and tell you kind of what I would like the channel to be about and why it exists, I'd appreciate it. And then we'll get into this conversation about stacking 90% silver and other silver and precious metals as I see it. This channel is going to exist to kind of just be entertainment, informational, helpful, hopefully a place that you want to tune into and just have a discussion in the comments with me about stacking precious metals, preserving wealth, hedging against the inflationary crisis that we're facing in the United States with the kind of the debasement of our currency and losing the reserve status of the US dollar, things like that. We're going to have a fun little discussion. I want to just kind of cover the news and the markets of precious metals, especially primarily silver, but some gold, platinum, and copper. I own all of those. I will be getting into coin book collecting, which we're going to discuss a little bit later on. The first book that we're going to try to get through is going to be the Franklin half dollars. I've got this book and I'm going to get it all set up for us soon. And I've got orders coming in that will be Franklin halves, and we will go through and try to find some of these key dates and find some of these, fill out this entire book. I want to talk about, for new stackers, how to purchase product, how to look for premiums, what are premiums, how to decide what to buy and what not to buy, which also, again, leads into why I'm talking about 90% silver today. We will do mail days, where I get to discuss the new coinage that we're bringing in, rounds, bars, whatever we're getting, possibly get into coin grading and numismatics. I will be doing some financial charting, my background. I will leverage my background to discuss the actual technical analysis of these financial charts for all the different precious metals and what I believe that means will be going up or down or sideways or why, what catalyst might be driving the markets. Again, not financial advice here, just for entertainment and for fun, and kind of what's persuading my own decision making in this process of stacking. At the end of the day, I just want more metal. I want more weight. But if I can find some cool stuff in between, we'll be doing that as well. We'll be hopefully doing some interviews, podcasts, and collaborations with other stackers in the community and other YouTubers in the community. I'd love to get to know people and find out what their goals are and how they got into this business and how they got into stacking the coinage of their choice. Discuss news, articles, and I will always invite you to like, subscribe, and give me comments so we can engage in a back and forth conversation about whatever topic is prevalent at the time of this video. So without further ado, let's talk about this fine 90% silver and why we might or might not be stacking it. I've heard on some other channels that, perhaps stacking 90% silver is a fool's errand. Maybe it's even the fool's gold of the stacking market these days. But I have to tell you, I didn't actually start out trying to stack 90% constitutional junk silver. I actually started out stacking primarily bullion, 999, 49's fine, you could say, in bars, 10-ounce bars preferably. This was back when silver was about 3 years ago or so, 2-3 years ago, when silver was about $18 to $20 an ounce. And I felt comfortable paying, $180, $200 for a bar, getting some, getting 10 to 20 rounds at a time. I was getting 1-ounce rounds because I didn't want to pay premium. You could call me the spot hero. I was always looking for the lowest spot price, the best deal I could get per poundage, per ounce. And that's what I was stacking. And we'll have plenty of videos going over some of the different types of, different types of silver and gold that I have collected over time. But, as George would say here, right? We just did the best that we could. We were kind of just buying every month or so, every 2 months, every week, right? It just depends on if things were going down, stable, up. And it turned out pretty quickly, about a year and a half ago, the price of everything started really going up. And what I was really thinking was, an ounce of silver being $18, even if I got into that SHTF type situation, right, I'd be able to essentially, trade or barter or sell those lower denominations. And as that price has gone up from 18 to 47, 54, a lot of you, have doubled or tripled your investment in your metals, and perhaps that's a catalyst for you to want to sell or reap some of your profits. Maybe you're selling 25, 30% of your stack converting it into something else, or fiat for a while. That's up to you. But really, what I've been doing is just stacking. I haven't sold anything, just wanting to collect as much as I possibly can. And so that led me to 90% silver because primarily at some point, the premiums on 90% started to actually go down in relation to the 5-ounce rounds, the 10-ounce bars, the things that I was originally stacking. And somebody recently on a video said that it's kind of a sucker's market, I guess, to purchase product online. My primary source of all of the silver and gold that I've purchased is from online dealers. I enjoy it, so maybe I'm a sucker, I don't know, but I do enjoy that mail day coming in and getting all that different types of silver. Now, I did transition from those 10-ounce bars and 5-ounce rounds and 1-ounce rounds, which I love very much. And I noticed that when the price bumped very rapidly over the last few months from 35 or so to 54 and then back down to 50, we had a gigantic war at 50, fighting a ton of resistance at 50. In fact, we're still fighting resistance at 49.50 if any chartists are out there. And I find that is problematic because they came out and the refiners were basically saying, refiners and wholesalers, that we don't want your 90%. We don't want your sterling. Some were saying we don't want even your oddball weights, like your 1.25 ounce rounds or your 1.5 ounce rounds. They really wanted 10-ounce bars of 999, and they wanted your 1-ounce rounds or the easily meltable, convertible into something else silver. And I can respect that, but that is not what I'm into. I'm not into just kind of like chasing the next popular thing. And I noticed that with kilos and 10-ounce bars, that the premiums started to go up because a very simple supply and demand situation occurs. When the world wants something and there's a limited supply of that, the price will go up. And dealers and whoever else, online dealers, LG, local coin shops, whoever, can charge more money for those things. So that's what actually led me to this 90% silvers, because the bars and kilos that I was buying are now having a premium that I don't want to pay, but the 90% was at spot or lower than spot. So here we are. Now I have to tell you what I didn't expect. These are all 1964 Kennedys, right? We'll be working on the Franklin book soon, so I do have rolls of Franklin's coming. And by the way, this little happy fellow over here, if you ever watch my stream or my live or my video, and you see this guy over here, what he has is he represents our mail days, which means something special has come in the mail, and we're going to open it up. So today, we got in the mail from Monument Metals. They have the best prices on some 90% halves that I've been buying right now. This is 90% in general. We got a bunch of quarters here. $10 face, and if you don't know, a dollar face is basically like 0.71 ounces. So here we go. We'll go ahead and add these to the stack here. But why I ended up kind of like sort of falling in love with this 90% junk fool's gold silver is because I genuinely started to appreciate the history that I was holding in my hand. I felt like, I'm looking at these dates and I'm looking at the wear and the just kind of like the use of these coins. And I started thinking to myself, this one, so let's just like 1958, right? You start looking at a coin like this, if our lordly camera here will focus, but I started looking at a coin like this and I'm like, okay, this one, doesn't look too circulated. You've got some pretty good detail. And then you kind of pop through and you keep looking at these dates and it's just fun. It just gets to the point where you're looking at the mint, I'm tracking down D's and S's. I'm learning that S's are pretty rare, in copper pennies and things. And I'm just kind of chasing down these different dates. And if I have a date that you see that is special, let me know in the comments and I will pull it out and kind of add it to a book or whatever. But you look at these coins and I'm just like, I started to appreciate really the history of the coinage and the artistry and what the mints were trying to accomplish and kind of the respect and honor of our country and its history. And I genuinely started to appreciate this 90% stuff more and more and more. And I kind of wish I did back when silver was $18 an ounce. I could have stacked a whole lot more. But like then, yeah, you come up to a coin like this. Look at this coin. right? Let's look at this. 1945. Look at the wear, the surface wear on this coin. You know, this thing comes out right at the tail end, you know, of World War II. And it has gone through some, you know, but there it is, you know. And then you come out here and you pull, you know, some of these coins. I have a 1919, you know, copper penny, etc. And you think about that, like this coin, like how many pockets has it been in? How many hands has it been in? How many, you know, I don't even know, like how many countries has it been in? How many, oh, I just dropped some there. You know, where has this coin been? What has it done? What has it seen? What has it been a part of? Like what transactions were used for this coinage? And I just find it very fascinating to start to understand and think about the history of the coin. Look at this, look at the toning, the wear on this guy. I don't know, 1936. Like let's just think about, again, just think about what this coin has been around and gone through. And I find that absolutely fascinating. And then the fact that for every dollar, it has silver value as well as this numismatic value, as well as, you know, kind of collector value and appreciation. And that's what led me to basically bonding with my wife. You know, if any of you guys are married, you know, out there, or ladies are, you know, have a husband or a wife, you know what I'm probably going to talk about. But I'd have that conversation with my wife. She goes, more silver, more gold, more silver, more gold. What are you doing? Why? Look at this guy, 1941. And I, you know, you'd have to explain to her, you know, hey, it's not really purchasing, it's not really spending, it's more conservation of our fiat, conservation of our hard-earned money into something that, you know, in theory is going to, over time, continually sort of be an inflation hedge and a, you know, a debasement of our currency hedge. You know, our government is printing 2 to 3% of its currency annually. The government claims, right, that our prices are rising at like 2.5%, 3% month over month or year over year, which we all know is absolutely utter garbage. That's incorrect. It's more like 100% year over year, with a lot of things, at least 50% on many things that should be making up the, you know, the CPI. But it is what it is, you know. And the best that we can do is earn our hard-earned money while also trying to, you know, do our best to keep it. And that's what I got to. So yes, while I do think that, you know, if you can find bullion, if you can find 999 in the 1 ounce or the 10 ounce, you're probably better off. But if you're right like me and you're just trying to stack as much weight as you can every time you press that buy button, you know, maybe you should look at some of these half dollars and some of these silver dollars. I've seen silver dollar Morgans, which I'm considering getting at almost spot price. You know, somewhere around like $35 a coin, which again, I'm not too concerned about that. I might be something picking them up, but right now I do want to complete this Franklin $50 book, and I hope you guys join me on that journey. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm a sucker. Maybe I'm a fool. Maybe I'm buying 90% and no refiner will ever take it. But I firmly believe this was just a gluttony situation where a lot of people doubled, tripled, quadrupled their money really quickly in less than, you know, a year and a half. And they saw that opportunity to cash out a little bit and to sell their more undesirable 1943. Love it. Right there. World War coins. And they decided to sell out their collection of stuff that's more undesirable. They probably kept their finer pieces, right? That's what I'm planning on doing. I'd keep my finer pieces and I'd sell my, you know, generic rounds or my generic bars, right? Who cares? If you had to, do what you got to do. But yeah, that's where we're at. And, you know, I've come to the conclusion that I do appreciate this 90%, even though I didn't at first. The more I get my hands on it, the more I can play with it, the more I can drop it and enjoy it, the more I want to collect of it. So again, let me know how you feel about it. Am I a sucker? Am I a fool? Am I chasing, you know, fool's gold here, trying to acquire some of this? Let me know. I enjoy it, and my stack and my weight is going up for precious metals and for silver. We did pick up some gold recently, and if you don't know, you know, these guys, they talked about this challenge for 100 gold coins or 100 gold pieces, and so I will be partaking. This is Spot. If you guys want to know, say hi, Spot, in the comments there. This is Spot. He's going to be our gold savior here. He gobbles up all the cheddar. And if you know, you know, right? It said that we've had our spicy salsa. We've had our guacamole. And I will admit, I have bought all this nice, delicious dips. And I am, like y'all, waiting for that delicious queso. And when silver hits around $45, $44 an ounce, you bet you're going to be seeing a lot more Franklin halves come through the house as we go through and sort it. So anyway, thanks for joining me on my channel, on my premiere video here. I hope you enjoyed it. George says that you should like and subscribe and come back here next time. And you never know, maybe we'll talk about something that's near and dear to your heart. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.